Hey, welcome back to episode 8 of the Metal Roundtable. I am Metal Rob, and this is
Carcass John.
Glad you're sticking around with us. We've got a good topic today, but before we get to that, we want to do our normal shout-outs. First of all, we have both had experiences with a little record store in Abilene, Record Guys. Tell us about your recent visit.
Abilene is about 150 miles or so, maybe a little more west of Fort Worth, and they're the only game in town. I'm convinced of it, because where are you going to buy vinyl? At Best Buy or at the grocery store? I don't think so. And these guys have a little bit of everything. They've got vintage stereo equipment, they've got shirts and posters and CDs and vinyl. Lots and lots of vinyl. And they even do the trading card thing in the back. So 701 South Leggett, Abilene, only game in town, Record Guys.
Yep, love it. I went in there this summer. We did a big loop through New Mexico for vacation, and I'd wanted to check it out for a long time, so we popped in. Man, I got sealed long box CDs of Poison and Quiet Riot and Tom Petty, and they had 8 tracks and cassettes. Holy smoke, did they have metal cassettes?
Yes,
oh my gosh.
Did.
So if you're a tape guy, this is a great place to check out. But the other thing that you don't really think about maybe is something that they do is they do Bluetooth conversions of vintage radios.
Oh yeah, that's a real cool deal.
And so I met Record Dad when I was there, and he was finishing up some Bluetooth radios and showing me what they had out. Nicest guys ever, man. They were such good dudes to hang out with. And the very best thing about the place, reasonable prices.
Yep, very reasonable.
I mean, fantastic on pricing.
And if you're looking to build your collection up a little bit, they have a great selection of, $10 to $12 records, and they're super clean, and they're not perfect. They're not mint sometimes. Sometimes they are.
Mm-hmm.
I found some Japanese pressings in there with the OBI strip, full inserts. Very, very reasonable, $20 a piece,
That's
$25 a piece. Those are great prices. So, our shout out to those dudes at Record Guys. If you're ever out in Central Texas and just driving and don't know what to do, boom, there you go.
Yeah, it's greatness. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Scott Waters at No Life Till Metal, who's about to release his first release on his new label, and it's Banshee's Mindslave, featuring the great George Call of Aska on vocals. It's coming out on vinyl and I think CD as well. You'll have to correct me on that if I'm wrong, Scott. But I just recently remastered that for them, and man, it's a great record. It's a really good album.
No, it's a good album. And George Call, you can say what you want about his political meanderings, but man, his vocals, he is a metal machine. So,
yep,
awesome.
Fantastic.
Can't wait to hear what it sounds.
So shout out to Scott Waters and No Life Till Metal Records. Check them out. So today's topic brings us to something that I am slightly unprepared for, but after seeing John's list, I'm going to hop in, and he has over-prepared for this. So we're going to talk about greatest live albums. Kick us off, brother.
Okay, well, my grandfather always told me that a sharp pencil is better than a dull mind. So I have to write everything down, because as I was driving from place to place today, I thought, I'll put this on my list, and then the list got so big that I had to stop and write it down. So, I don't think you're as unprepared as you think you are, because you and I have some crossover here on my elaborate list. And I'm not saying this is the ultimate list, I'm just saying this is my list as I thought about it today as I was driving around. So,
let's hear it.
Not in any particular order. I'm not ranking them 1 through 100 or whatever, but food for thought.
There's a lot on here.
Radio Moscow, live in California. Killer power trio from Cali, modern band, but sounds vintage, like old 10 years after whatever. ZZ Top Fandango Side B. How many of you remember that Side B is all new songs and they're all played live?
Just spun it this week.
Led Zeppelin. Song remains the same. It's not just a movie, it's a live concert. And they just re-released it with the whole concert. There were songs missing out of the original release, but now they've got all the songs.
I did not know
on
that.
A third disc. Dream Theater, Live at the Marquee, was released just after Images and Words. It's a powerhouse of a live record in a small room. Rob Halford live at the Satayama Super Arena. Japanese pressing only, available on Blu-ray. Gus G, Metal Mike Schlesiak, ripping, and Halford's vocals are second to none. This may be one of the more powerful speed metal records.
His live Insurrection to me is just amazing, and I don't care if it was recorded at Soundcheck or whatever. They played it.
Yeah, no, that's
Holy
correct.
smoke!
And I had that on my list, but I ran out of paper, so I'll just keep going. Grand Funk Live,
Okay.
and since talking to Henry Vasquez of Blood of the Sun / St. Vitus / Archie Bunker, I've come around on Caught in the Act. What a great record. And that transition between there at Black Licorice, yeah, that sold it for me. Deep Purple, Made in Japan.
Amazing.
We all got to agree
Perfect.
on that one. And I like the full Japanese release because it has all the nights that were recorded.
I just picked that up on CD recently.
Here's an obscure one, Toxic Holocaust live in London. This was released on the import only with Conjure in Command, and it is a ripper. If you are a three-piece thrash guy, this is your live record.
I've never I don't want to say I'm a mild Toxic Holocaust fan. That's not what I mean. I'm a casual Toxic Holocaust fan in that I don't know too much about the band, but seeing them with Venom Inc., holy smoke, I can see how that would be a ripping album.
And this is a ripper.
I'll check that out.
Bodies heaped on bodies. The floor, the pit looks like the permafrost cycle in your washing machine. It's pretty awesome.
Full of metal shirts.
And full of metal shirts. Primal Fear live in America. They toured the States a while back and had this available only on tour, and it's just an amazing record. Primal Fear, probably an overlooked band, not unlike Paragon, but really, really talk about a powerhouse. I would say that they easily rival Priest.
I'm not familiar with Primal Fear.
Of course, my favorite band of all times, everyone thinks that it might be metal. It's not. It's Osric Tentacles, live Underslunky, an amazing record.
I don't know what he's talking.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't. But try it out. Give it a shot. Open minds, open hearts,
Absolutely.
open soul.
Yep.
And then here's where we start to agree a little more. Judas Priest, and everyone's going to say Unleashed in the East, right?
Yes,
But
and they're correct.
and then what else did I put on there? Metal Rob, Live Meltdown '98.
Fantastic live Priest album.
I think
It belongs in the catalog of great, amazing heavy metal records. The band is on fire, and Ripper is show-stoppingly good.
equally
that
on
album.
equally
But
on fire.
In my opinion, that's my favorite Ripper era Priest. The albums that he sang on were okay, but to me, the definitive Ripper era Priest is that album.
Awesome. I totally agree with you. And here's another one we can agree on. UFO, Strangers in the Night. Classic.
Eddie Trunk is right.
Wow, has he ever been right? No, just kidding. Slayer, Decade of Aggression.
Punishing.
Yep.
Punishing.
Can't argue with that one.
Just listened to it last week.
And we just talked about this before we went on. Iron Maiden, Made in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's an EP, but it is a classic live record.
Made in Japan is just one of those perfect lightning in a bottle kind of things. Diano, man, yeah. And there's even more out there. There's a complete show version of that out there. And if you can track it down, amazing.
I will rely on you to help me track it down. All right, Ted Nugent, Double Live Gonzo.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty amazing at its time. Here's another one you're probably unfamiliar with. Immortal, live at Wacken in 2007. I really love Immortal. That's my shout out to.
I like the
to them.
funny Immortal videos on YouTube.
Yeah, they are very funny, but those dudes can riff and play. And I saw Aboth still playing some of those songs, and he's still awesome. Saxon, The Eagle Has Landed 1 and 2.
Greatness.
Yep, can't argue there. Kiss
Classic.
Kiss Alive 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Game changers.
Yep.
Kiss Alive put them on the map.
Yeah, I think that I was a young kid when Kiss Alive 1 came out, and I can remember every Boy Scout camp that I went on. Me and a couple of my buddies, including my new brother-in-law Terry Sullivan, we would reenact the entire both records set, word for word.
That's
Firehouse, woo! Oh yeah. Anyway,
Alive 2 was I liked, of the Kiss live albums, I liked Alive 2 the best. I don't really know why. I think I just liked the songs that were on it better. I don't think I was as familiar with early Kiss at the time. So to me, Alive 2 and opening that gatefold and seeing that huge stage with the Cats on the drum riser, that to me will always be the definitive Kiss live
yeah,
album.
Rob is a little more into the spectacle, but he's equally into the music too. So I got to give him credit for that. Here's sort of a sleeper up on the shelf: Pink Floyd live at Pompeii.
Yes. I had that on Laserdisc. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Do y'all even know what Laserdiscs are?
We can have Laserdisc
We
talk.
can have Laserdisc talk.
Scorpions Tokyo tapes.
Fantastic. Perfect live album.
Kind of like I got the Scorpions Tokyo tapes and UFO Strangers in the same day.
Well, and if you're going to start collecting Scorpions, that's a pretty good place to start.
Yeah.
Even if you're going to pick up 2 or 3 of their studio albums, man, Tokyo Tapes is a great place to start.
Sure is. David Gilmour live at Royal Albert Hall and his show at Live at Gansk, which is a shipyard in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
Spectacular.
Love Pink Floyd, love David Gilmour.
Okay, here we go. We're going to really get deep in the deep tracks in the bowels of music.
Let's see what you've got.
Steve Hillage live at Madison Square Garden, 1977. Great guitar player, melodic jazz along the lines of John McLaughlin. Speaking of which, Mahavishnu Orchestra live at Montreux in 74. Check it out. I'm telling you, the roots of metal are there.
This guy knows everything.
How about Black Sabbath live at Cal Jam in 74?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I actually saw it on TV when TV was really TV.
Yeah.
And they had ABC had In Concert every Friday night, and they showed Sabbath and Nugent and all these killer bands live at Cal Jam in 74.
Oh, that's the show too where Blackmore during Rainbow. Yeah. My gosh, Monster. Just the antics of him dragging the speaker cabinets off the stage and running his guitar into the camera, and there's a whole story about that. If you've never read up on the story about all the tension during that concert, please read up on that and then go watch it. It's out there everywhere. You can find it on DVD. It's even on YouTube, I think. Man, amazing historical show.
I think that Sabbath was guaranteed $160,000 or $360,000 cash and collected $100,000, never got paid for the rest, as did a lot of the other bands didn't get paid. But
historic show.
Yeah, Google it. How about Jimi Hendrix Band of Gypsies?
Amazing.
Yeah, that's an essential one.
I just gave you my record.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
The green label. Let's see. Do you have? No, never mind. We have this. We have this thing that every time I say, "Gosh, if I could just find a copy of this," then he says, "Well, I have a copy and I don't really listen to it, so we'll work something out."
Yeah, he's also got my Pink Floyd "Wish You Were Here" half-speed master. Well, it's his now.
Yeah.
I mean,
didn't you give me the live at Pompeii Pink Floyd Laserdisc?
I did.
I think I'm the one that has that now.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm a nice guy.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer, welcome back, my friends.
No clue.
Nope. Okay. Well, honestly, if you've never heard of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, that's a good place to start. Brain Salad Surgery. Fantastic, one of my favorite records of all times. But this was how I bridged the gap with rock and roll and my parents. My mother was a highly accomplished and well-trained classic musician and played the piano. And when she heard Keith Emerson playing, he plays a whole side. This is a 3-record set. He plays an entire one side. Some of his creative takes on certain movements and piano, whatever. And my mom was like, I really like him. I want to hear more. And it led us into Boston and Kansas and Deep Purple, and she was hooked. And that's how I got my parents to kind of back off the whole take those Kiss posters down part. Anyway, Robin Trower live. That might be a top tenor right there. I think easily I can say that. And in fact, Paul Gaskin from Gaskin agrees with me. So thanks, Paul.
Absolutely. I was going to say, if Paul agrees,
then it's got to be a top tenor.
It's credible.
So we're getting down to the bottom of the list, and like I said, these aren't ranked. These are just throwing it out there. Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush live.
No clue.
I,
He's the man.
I don't know how many dive bomb guitar deals were on that record, but I think it set a record. It's awesome.
I'm not sure I know a Mahogany Rush song.
Well, he does Johnny B. Good.
Well, that's Chuck
But his
Berry
version.
song. Yeah.
I know, and I don't want to bring race into this, but they called him the White Hendrix.
Okay.
So that's his style.
Interesting.
But how about Motorhead? No Sleep Till Hammersmith and No Sleep at All. Both those records are.
Anything Motorhead live is just amazing.
See, that was the beauty of Motorhead. You could buy a live album. I know people that say, I don't really like live albums because it doesn't sound as clean or as precise as studio. But you know what? Motorhead was always on. In fact, most of their records were recorded basically live with few overdubs or editing or what have you. So their live stuff, second to none. Oh, and I put Live at Brixton, too. That was a 2-session show, and you can actually buy the box set that has both sessions. All right, we're getting down near the end. Uriah Heep live. Great record. And the last one I have written down, and I'm sure there's 1,000 more because you're going to list them down below. Overkill, Wrecking Your Neck Live, 1995. It was a 10-year anniversary show for them that they did at the Agora in Cleveland. And man, that is a ripper. And once again, we can have an whole episode about Overkill.
Oh, yeah.
And about their consistency.
Yeah.
And do they deserve to be in the Big Four, et cetera, et cetera. But for a later date. Okay. So,
the only glaring omission that I see here, Mr. Man, is Iron Maiden's Live After Death. Made in Japan is fantastic, but Dion only did a couple of albums, and when they were in full stride in '85, Power Slave Tour, man, Live After Death, recorded out in California. I remember getting that thing, once again, poring over the liner notes, looking at every picture, just trying to figure these guys out and looking at the artwork. And to me, that's that's probably a top 3 of all time. There's a lot of nostalgia involved, but the band is on fire. The artwork is killer. The whole package as a set is just unbelievable.
Well, I'm going to agree with you on that. It deserves to be on the list, but like I said, neither one of us profess to know everything about everything, but we do know something about some things. So that's what my list is, and we look forward to hearing from you down below. Put your favorite live albums. Doesn't have to be just 1 or 2. You can put as many as you want. We're interested in hearing from the people out there, from music fans.
Tell John if you've heard of Osric Tentacles.
Osric Tentacles rule, man. And Live Ethereal Cereal. I could have put that one on there too, but I didn't.
It's not too late.
It was too obscure. It actually released as a tape only. But anyway, so anything more to add to that?
Well, while John gets his pen to add more Osric Tentacle live albums to his list, I will say thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time. We hope you have enjoyed our special guests over the past 2 episodes. Find us on YouTube at the Metal Roundtable. Find us on Facebook at the Metal Roundtable. He is Carcass John Art on Instagram. I am at I am Metal Rob. I'm getting better at saying that on Instagram. Subscribe to the channel, like the page, fight it out in the comments, tell us why we're wrong. We love to hear it, and we'll do our best to respond to any and all comments. Until next time, metal will prevail.